Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today we're going to be doing a Harpie deck profile. So I'm really excited for you guys because we're actually going to be doing a giveaway in this video for 3 of these really awesome Harpies Feather Duster vinyl decals sent to me courtesy of Hooked by Savvy. If you guys would like to check out Hooked by Savvy, she is right down there in the description down below, and you can actually use code DAD10 to get 10% off your order. But Hooked by Savvy actually sent me these vinyl decals to give away to you guys in honor of hitting 50,000 subscribers. So all you have to do to enter to win is like this video, be subscribed to the DarkArmedDuelist channel, and comment down below what your favorite Winged Beast Yu-Gi-Oh card actually is. And that's all you have to do. If you guys would like to check out the official rules, they are right down there in the description down below. And while you're down there, check out Hooked by Savvy on Izzy. She has all sorts of really amazing vinyl decals. You can stick them onto just about anything, and you can actually get everything from Yu-Gi-Oh vinyl decals to Sonic the Hedgehog to even some really amazing anime ones. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards like getting your name in the description in a single video, getting a signed card to the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron along with test-ins. And while you're down there in the description, definitely check out Hooked by Savvy, and if you guys pick up anything from her shop, definitely use code DAD10. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Harpie Channeler. Harpie Channeler is one of the best summons in this entire deck because she can actually let you special summon additional Harpies from your deck. She lets you discard a Harpie card from your hand to special summon a Harpie monster from your deck in face-up defense position, except another copy of herself. She also has the ability that if you control a dragon monster, her level becomes 7, which can kind of mess you up at some points because we're not playing any rank 7 XZs in this particular build. We're then playing 3 copies of Harpie Perfumer. Harpie Perfumer has a neat effect that she counts as Harpie Lady while on the field and in the graveyard, which all of your Harpie monsters actually share that ability to count as Harpie Lady while on the field or in the graveyard. And when she is normal or special summon, you can add a spell or trap from your deck to your hand that specifically lists a card of Harpie Lady Sisters in its text. And if you control a level 5 or higher Harpie monster while you activate, or when you activate this card effect, you can add an additional card from your deck to your hand that lists Harpie Lady Sisters, which is a pretty good effect to be able to add 2 cards instead of 1. We then play 3 copies of the original Harpie Lady because we play a couple of cards that actually work really well with the original Harpie Lady. Cyber Harpie Lady isn't quite a good card anymore compared to this card because you have all sorts of different ways to actually special summon this card out, and the 300 point boost is great in this deck with Harpie Lady 1, but I just prefer the original Harpie Lady with all the great ways we can special summon this card out to the field. We then play 2 copies of Harpie Harpist. Harpie Harpist has a great effect that this card's name becomes Harpie Lady while in the field or in the graveyard, and you can only use the effect of this card once per turn. When this card is normal summon, you can target a Winged Beast type monster that you control other than this card and 1 face-up monster your opponent controls and return them to the hand. And then during the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard, because it was sent there this turn, you can add a level 4 Winged Beast monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck to your hand, which is a great effect just to be able to get you additional searches. We then play 2 copies of Harpie Oracle. Harpie Oracle is actually a pretty good card in this deck, comboed with your copy of your Cyber / Harpie Lady, which is a card that you're going to be comboing with this card all the time because it has the ability that if you control a level 5 or higher Harpie monster, you can special summon her from your hand. And if she is normal or special summon, you can add a spell or trap from your graveyard to your hand that specifically lists the name Harpie Lady Sisters, and then during the end phase of this turn, which is a pretty good effect just to be able to get you that additional add back from graveyard to hand. We then play just a single copy of Harpie Queen. I bumped Harpie Queen down to 1 in this particular build because I actually changed Harpie Oracle up to 2, and basically what she lets you do is discard this card from your hand to add a Harpie's Hunting Ground from your deck to your hand. We then play a single copy of the Barrier Statue of Stormwinds because this card can totally shut down a duel, because this card has the ability that if this card is on the field, neither player can special summon anything but wind monsters. So this card is an absolutely hard card and crazy card to out for your opponent. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom just to stop your opponent from touching the deck. And then a new personal attack card that I'm actually playing in this deck is 3 copies of Fantastical Dragon Phantasme. Phantasme is a neat card because it has the ability that if your opponent special summons a Link monsters, then you can special summon this card from your hand and draw cards equal to the number of Link monsters your opponent controls +1. So for example, if your opponent controls 1 Link monster, you draw 2 cards. Then shuffle cards from your hand in the deck equal to the number of Link monsters they control, which always gives you a +1. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a monster that you control, quick effect, you can discard a card and negate the activation if you do destroy that card, which actually comes up a lot to protect your Harpie monster's effects. Now you have to be a little bit careful with this card because of your effect of your Harpie channeler giving you that boost, but it's a really good card to just summon to your side of the field and give you that draw power to get to really powerful cards in the deck and shuffle back your normal Harpie monsters into the deck because she's not great when you actually draw into her into the hand because you're trying to special summon her from the deck with some really good cards. So that's it for the monsters. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Monster Reborn because it's a great extender in this deck, just letting you special summon back a monster from the graveyard. 1 copy of Called by the Grave, because Called by the Grave helps out this deck a lot to be able to stop your opponent from hand trapping you. A single copy of Double or Nothing to go into Utopia Double and OTK your opponent, because the effect of this card is super good comboed with your Utopia Double, because this card is just going to let you go for some really, really good plays just to go in for an OTK. 1 copy of Harpie's Feather Duster, and make sure that you guys enter the giveaway for the Harpie's Feather Duster vinyl decals. If you guys have not checked out the official rules, they are down there in the description down below. And thank you so much, Hook by Savvy, for actually sending these to me. This card actually has the ability that you destroy all spell cards that all spells and traps your opponent controls, which is a great effect just to board wipe your opponent's back row. We play a single copy of Harpie's Feather Rest. I've actually changed out Alluring Mirror Split for this card because it lets you target 3 Harpie Ladies or Harpie Lady Sisters in your graveyard and shuffle them into the deck, and then you get to draw a card. And if you control a level 5 or higher Harpie monster while this card is activated, then you get to draw 2 cards. And with the release of our Cyber Harpie Lady Cyber Harpie Lady Synchro monster, this card actually lets you draw 2 cards because you're usually going to control that copy of the Cyber / Harpie Lady. We then play a single copy of the Harpie's Hunting Ground. This card, every single time you summon a Harpie monster, you're going to be able to pop a spell or trap on the field, which is a really good effect, but it is mandatory. So if you do have just this card on the field and you summon a Harpie monster, it is going to have to destroy itself, but it also boosts all of your Harpie monsters up by 200 attack and defense. We then play 3 copies of Elegant Egotist. Elegant Egotist is really good because it lets you special summon a Harpie Lady from your deck to your side of the field, and it also has the ability that you have to control a Harpie Lady when you activate this card. But getting you a basically for free special summon from the deck is just such a great card effect, and it's a really amazing card in this build. We then play 3 copies of Hysteric Sign. Hysteric Sign lets us add our Elegant Egotist from our deck to our hand when it's activated, or if this card is on the field and if this card is on the field, is destroyed and sent to the graveyard or sent to the graveyard at all, you can add 3 Harpie cards with different names from your deck to your hand during the end phase. But you can only activate either or effect of this card effect per turn. You can't grab the Elegant Egotist and then during the end phase get you the add 3. We then play 3 copies of Unexpected Die to round out the spells. This card is the reason why I say that Harpie Lady is such a good card in this deck, because if you activate this card, it baits Ash Blossom, and if they don't activate the Ash Blossom to stop this, you're actually going to be able to special summon out a Harpie to your side of the field that is the original Harpie monster, which is why I think it's the better card over the copies of Harpie Lady 1 or your copies of the Cyber Harpie Lady, which actually doesn't have an effect. She basically just says she becomes Harpie Lady, which is a really interesting concept. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're then going to be playing 3 copies of one of the best trap cards ever created, and that is 3 copies of Harpie's Feather Storm. This card is nuts. This card has the ability, if you control a Wind Wing Beast monster, until the end phase of this turn, negate any monster effect that your opponent activates, and if you control a Harpie monster, you can activate this card from your hand. This card is an insane hand trap and is just absolutely crazy, because it's always going to get you a plus, because if this card in its owner's spell and trap card zone is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you get to add a Harpie's Feather Duster from your deck or graveyard, giving you one of the most powerful spells ever created in Yu-Gi-Oh! Back to your hand from the graveyard that's currently at 1. That's really good. We then play 2 copies of Hysteric Party, which is a massive Call of the Haunted, because it has the ability to activate this card, discard a card from your hand, and then special summon as many Harpie ladies as possible from the graveyard. And seeing as how all of our main deck monsters count as Harpie lady while on the field or in the graveyard, you can special summon up to 5 Harpie monsters on your side of the field, which is a great effect. So that's it for the traps, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Cyber/Harpie Lady. This card is one of the best cards in the entire extra deck, and has the ability that for the synchro summon of this card, you can treat any Harpie monster you control as a tuner monster, which is a really interesting concept, because I think it's one of the first cards in the entire game that's a synchro monster that you don't actually have to use a tuner. It can treat another monster as a tuner, which is really weird but really cool at the same time. So basically, any 2 level 4 Harpie monsters equal this card. It also becomes Harpie Lady while on the field or in the graveyard, which lets it be able to be brought back from the grave with your Hysteric Party. And it is also a level 5 or higher, which lets you get all of the bonus effects of all of your Harpie cards in the deck. It also has the ability that when a spell or trap is activated, except during the damage step, that you get to quick effect target a monster your opponent controls or a Harpie monster that you control and return to the hand. So she's a walking compulsory evacuation device if your opponent activates a spell or trap, or if you activate a spell or trap, and it's a quick effect, so it's during either player's turn. We then play a single copy of Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon. This card is really good actually to go into Zeus, because you can attack your opponent directly with this card, and then during the main phase 2, make Zeus with 4 materials on it, which is really good. We then play a single copy of Ice Beast Xerophine, because Xerophine can negate every face-up card on the field's effect, and then it gains attack points equal times the number of face-up cards times 300. This card can get really big and give you basically a Dark Ruler No More effect or a Cold Wave effect to be able to just negate every face-up card. We then play a single copy of Heartland Draco. Heartland Draco is a card that I actually did consider dropping out of this deck for a copy of Flare Metal or Draco Sack. So if you want to change this card out for a rank 7, you can change out the Heartland Draco, but it's a pretty good card to be able to attack your opponent directly, to be able to go into a copy of Zeus. We then play a single copy of Lightning Chidori because it bounces cards, and a single copy of Abyss Dweller because it stops graveyard effects. 1 copy of number 60 because number 60 comes in very handy in this deck to double the attack of a monster, special summon something back from the graveyard, or let you draw 2 and discard a card. 1 copy of Utopia Double because you can add a copy of Double or Nothing from your deck to your hand, and then overlay a copy of number Utopia on top of this. Then once you overlay the copy of Utopia on top of this, it will go up to 10,000, which will actually be insane, because when you overlay it on top, it'll go to 5,000, and then you swing, detach a material, drop Double or Nothing, and then swing for that 10,000. And if your opponent doesn't have a monster, or if your opponent has a monster that's 2,000 or less attack, you're essentially going to OTK them with the Utopia Double. The really neat thing is when you combo these 3 cards together, you can actually get the Utopia all the way up to 20,000. So basically you attack any attack position monster, and you're going to OTK. We then play a single copy of AA Zeus, just to give us that ability to board wipe. 1 copy of Harpie Conductor. She's here just in case you need to summon her to your side of the field. 1 copy of Blockade Borg Blocker. This card is a card that I've actually included from previous lists. I really like this card because it has the ability, if this card is link summoned, you can discard a card, and then during the end phase, you can add a continuous or a field spell from your graveyard to your hand, which can let us grab our Harpie's Hunting Ground or our Hysteric Sign back from the graveyard. We have a single copy of Pentastag because it can let our Utopia Double do double damage, or not double damage, but do piercing damage, which is really good. And a single copy of Smorg to special summon out from our deck the Barrier Statue to lock down the opponent. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. It's a really fun deck to play around with, and definitely enter that giveaway down in the comments down below. If you guys would like to check out those official rules for the vinyl decals. They are right down there in the description, and thank you so much, Hook by Savvy, for actually sending those to me for hitting 50,000 subscribers. It's still crazy to me that we actually hit that insane number, and I can't wait to hit all the milestones with you guys. So definitely check out the giveaway down in the description down below for all the official rules for these really awesome vinyl decals, and check out Hook by Savvy on Izzy, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.